So, nearby Nisha, what is the angriest you've ever been? So I'm very seldom angry, and I think my friends who know me would say the angriest I've ever been is also the most Yorkshire I've ever been. And it's when I just got my new phone. It was this phone here. So my business phone, my work phone. I was very happy about the fact I got a phone for work. It's a work phone. It's a really fancy one. It has unlimited internet and everything, so I need that for my job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, let me hold that for a second. I handed it to him. He went to his hand and went right into his eating mess.
Oh, shit. Eating mess?
Because we were at a buffet and he had eaten mess. It just dropped right in, just right into the meringue and the cream. Like, you kid. Sam Jackson is an actor best known for an eclectic range of ass-whipping roles. One of the best known being the Jerry curl-rocking, burger-munching, hardened gangster, Jules Winfield. Oh, it's Winfield. Damn it! I got the intro almost perfect and then got the guy's name wrong. Because I think he's called Jules throughout the thing. I had to look up his last name. Anyway, in the film Pulp Fiction, a role that Jackson initially thought he was a shoo-in for, then found out he wasn't, and then managed to snatch back again, in part because he was really angry while eating a hamburger. So you've seen Pulp Fiction, no doubt, yes?
Yeah.
You've probably seen the wall of every uni student who's a guy who has the Jules and Vincent guns pointing black and white poster.
Yeah.
I had that poster in university. I think everyone had that poster.
Oh, there's the one with Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, yeah, on the front with a big old title. It's a fantastic film. And we don't really need to say much more about it besides, if you've not seen it, go watch it. And do you have any favourite moments from Pulp Fiction? Because there's a couple that just stick out in my head. Obviously, there's the Ezekiel speech that Sam Jackson gives, which someone in the comments can say, well, did you know that's not a real Bible speech? Of course it isn't. The Bible's not that badass.
Well, it is during that scene when that guy just keeps going, what? What? It's like, what? I've never heard of the country. What? They speak English in what?
You
like,
say
English?
what again?
Do you speak it?
It's just like, say what again, motherfucker? Pointing a gun in the guy's face.
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English in what?
What?
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Yes.
And then you have the argument about a royale, with I can't do it.
Royale with cheese.
I cannot imitate fucking Sam Jackson, so I'm not even going to try to do that one because I can't mimic his voice, which is inimitable. His voice is so good.
Royale with cheese.
That's strange.
And just everything that man says is solid fucking gold. And even when it is the most bit parts, he steals the show. Obviously in Incredibles, honey, where's my super suit?
Where's my super suit?
The best line in the entire movie, and he's in it for 5 minutes. And then you have my favourite one, which I think it's I forget the name of the film now. It's the one where his daughter gets attacked by a dude and he just turns up in court and shoots the guy. And he gives this amazing speech in court of yes, they deserve to die and I'm glad they're burning in hell or something like that. And he's just screaming.
Is that the film where there's that screenshot that's very memeable, where he's in that vest top and he's just staring down?
It might be. That's the thing, he's had so many roles and famously bad haircuts and wigs in films, which is something we've written an article about and we'll no doubt cover on another day. But in specific regards to Pulp Fiction, while you can never picture anybody else in the role of Jules but Sam Jackson, the role was never intended for him and was in fact intended for an actor Sam Jackson has spent near enough his entire career being mistaken for, a guy called Larry Fishburne. I guess we're putting that clip in now. And that wasn't me being facetious. Sam Jackson has legitimately spent nearly his entire career being mistaken for Laurence Fishburne by everyone from fans to people on TV whose only job is knowing who he is and asking him softball questions.
But they look nothing alike.
That's the thing. That's what confuses me about this. They don't look anything alike.
Mm-mm.
And Sam Jackson is very famously bald and Laurence Fishburne is not. He was only bald for one role in which he doesn't look anything like Sam Jackson. And there are multiple examples of this within the realm of Hollywood, of actors looking eerily similar. You have, I think Zooey Deschanel is one where she looks eerily similar to Katy Perry. In some circumstances, and there'll be pictures of these examples behind us, there's very famously Elijah Wood and Daniel Radcliffe look so much alike their fans often get them confused.
Yeah, there's a third person as well.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire is the trifecta. So 3 actors all look alike, and the story is that they all sign each other's autographs if they get asked, because it's easier than explaining that I'm not Elijah Wood or Tobey Maguire. They just sign the autograph and say thank you. And I think the most uncanny one, I've got the picture and the names here, is Jaime King and Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
And they legitimately look like the same person. And the other one that I learned about recently is Bryce Dallas Howard and Jessica Chastain. And I've got the pictures in front of me now. Not all of them are great because they have different hair colours, but there's a couple of pictures where they look eerily similar. And I get that, but Sam Jackson and Laurence Fishburne look nothing alike. And there is a very, very funny interview with Sam Jackson when this happened live on air. And he just sat there in a booth. And the guy's like, oh, so Mr. Jackson, I saw you in that Super Bowl commercial recently. And you see Sam Jackson like, huh? And then you can see like the guy who's asking the question like shit themselves as a producer whispers in it, that wasn't Samuel Jackson.
Oh, no.
And just Sam Jackson realizes and goes, I'm not Laurence Fishburne. And the guy's like, no, I didn't think, let's move on. And like,
I tell you what, you working for Marvel, the Super Bowl commercial, did you get a lot of reaction to that Super Bowl commercial?
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've been my mistake. You know what?
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Laurence Fishburne.
Sam Jackson's not going to let you move on from that. And he like reams the guy out for like 2 minutes.
And does he stare motherfuckerly at him?
He stares very motherfuckily into the camera, yes. And Sam Jackson got a lot of flack for that. It's like, you were a bit mean to that guy, weren't you? And he's like, no, fuck him. His only job is knowing who I was, and he doesn't know who I am. Fuck him.
Yeah, I'd be the same. I'd react exactly the same.
And Sam Jackson has gone to the point now where he frequently wears a shirt that just says on it, I am not Laurence Fishburne.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got one, he sells it. He's got an official merch store.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
But bring it back to Pulp Fiction, and the story goes that the role of Jules was written for Mr. Larry Fishburne, and always was, and then he turned it down, and then they offered it to Sam Jackson. And Sam Jackson didn't know this apparently, because he always assumed at the time that the role was written specifically for him. So when he turned up to audition for the role of Jules, he kind of tanked it a bit because he didn't realise it was an audition. He thought it was a reading.
Oh, so he thought, I'm going to get the role anyway because it's written for me.
Yeah, like
So.
he thought he already had the role, so he turned up to do a reading, which is where you go through the script. He didn't realise he was auditioning for it, and as a result, bombed. And he was really, really annoyed about that because he's like, well, I thought this was my role, and they're saying that I'm shit. And his audition was so bad that he got pipped at the post by an actor. I've got his name here, Paul Calderon, who does have a cameo of sorts in Pulp Fiction. I believe he's the bartender, Marcellus Wallace's bar.
Oh, yeah.
He's that guy. So he was the actor who went in after Sam Jackson, and he did a lot better because he actually knew he was going to an audition. And Sam Jackson was upset, and he's like, you know what, fuck it, I don't care about Pulp Fiction, I'll go do something else. I'll be a legend elsewhere. And the story goes that Harvey Weinstein, yes, and that's the thing as well. And when you cover stories from like his name is fucking everywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But he did play a small, albeit pivotal role in this story. So we'll just say fuck Harvey Weinstein, rot in prison and all that. But his role in this story is that he told Sam Jackson, well, go to another audition and see what happens. And Sam Jackson, I don't want to go on no fuck it, but I will, whatever. And he turns up, he gets to LA, he gets on a plane, he's knackered. And Sam Jackson, he doesn't want to go to the audition, but he does. He gets off the plane, he's knackered, he turns up to the audition, eating a hamburger, drinking a milkshake. And if anyone's wondering, is that because in the script, his character famously drinks a milkshake and eats a burger? It's like, no, Sam Jackson was just hungry and didn't give a shit.
Fair.
Which works out quite well, because his character does that in the film. Like one of the best scenes in the film is where it's like, is that Big Kahuna burger? Let me try and just start munching that guy's burger.
Yeah, because he says something like his girlfriend's a vegetarian, so he doesn't get to eat burgers very often.
Yeah, and it's a very Tarantino moment, isn't it? Of just seemingly inane dialogue with that, just that threatening undertone of Sam Jackson's going to fucking shoot someone here.
Like he's calmly eating a burger, making casual conversation, and they're all shitting themselves.
Yeah.
Like he's going to flip any minute. Don't
And
say
he does.
anything wrong.
Exactly, yeah. And just just that icon of him eating the burger. That's a damn good burger. Give me a bit of that shake. And that's what he did for the audition, but just by accident because he was hungry. And as mentioned, Sam Jackson was not in the best of moods when he turned up for this audition. And his mood did not get any better when he turned up and nobody was there.
Oh shit.
So he specifically flew in for this audition and no one was there to greet him.
So what did he do?
Well, he waited there awkwardly for a few minutes and an intern spotted him, went and grabbed a producer who walked up to Samuel L. Jackson, shook his hand and said, I shit you not, I love your work, Mr. Fishburne.
No. I knew you were going to say that.
To his
I knew
face.
you were going to say that.
And now, this is the picture I just put in to show Sam Jackson's presumed reaction to that of just stares motherfuckerly.
Yep.
Can you imagine you've done all that and you walk in and you've been told, look, they specifically want you for the part, and the first thing that happens when you speak to someone involved with production is, oh, hey, Mr. Fishburne, love your work.
Especially after Laurence didn't want it, so they passed it on to Sam Jackson. So why are they still getting mixed up?
Also, as well, They don't look anything alike.
I just don't understand, like, how they keep fucking up.
Also, if that producer loved Laurence Fishburne's work, they'd probably notice that. That's not Laurence Fishburne.
So much for being a fan. You don't know what they look like.
But, like, as you might imagine, after all that, Sam was fucking... Actually, I'm not going to say that. Sam Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson. I'm going to say his full fucking name, 'cause it's rad. Like, he was real pissed. And he walked into that room like he did not give a fuck, chewing that burger, drinking that milkshake. And he just started, like, reading lines. And according to one of the producers who was there that day, in that instant, they knew they'd found Jules because, Sam Jackson's walked in and stared right through them. And they were talking about it after the fact, said, like, I thought he was going to shoot us. Like, he looked so mad. I thought he was legitimately going to walk over and shoot us. He was that convincing at playing this hardened gangster. And Sam Jackson himself did nothing to alleviate these concerns when, after he finished his audition, he looked at the producer and said, if you give this part to anybody else, I will shoot you in the face.
For fuck's sake.
That's how mad he was. He just straight up threatened to shoot Quentin Tarantino if he didn't get it wrong.
That's our guy.
That's the thing, like, you know what? That's Jules.
Nothing to do with the threat. He's just a good actor, yeah.
What's the thing? They just thought he was in character. It's like, no, he was really angry. And him being really angry sold Jules of, like, you know, that quiet, festering anger that's underneath him in, like, every scene he's in.
It's like that scene from Friends when Joey really needs the toilet during an audition and he gets the audition because he's, like, so erratic and, like, flailing all over the place.
And it's great because you have Jeff Goldblum, the famously just fidgety Jeff Goldblum, be like, oh, I love this energy you bring to the character. Just been that same thing with Sam Jackson. He was really angry in that moment. In the end, he was so palpable, he got in the role.
For the best, I think.
After
that threat.
Just, if you give this role to anybody else, I'll blow you motherfuckers away. So nearby, I'm so used to saying it. So nearby Nisha, do you have any other stories in your mind of people who've gotten roles or done things in films by accident that made it in? There's a couple of examples for me that spring to mind, and we have the opposite of what happened with Sam Jackson, and there's the B-movie classic, Samurai Cop, which is, people in the know, they know what this film is. And the lead actor for that, very infamously, did not want to be in the film. Like, they kept bringing him back in for reshoots. Like, I fucking hate this film. So he got brought back in after like 6 months. He shaved his head. And, like, in the film, he has this giant big wig for half the film to replace the hair he had. And it's very obviously a woman's wig. And the director said, okay, and now I need to give you the big villain speech. And he said in, like, you know, interviews after the fact, I gave the most piss poor performance of my entire career purely so they wouldn't put it in the film. And then they put it in the film. And here's a clip. And you can see him when he's in the thing. He's like looking off camera of like, and I'm telling you, motherfuckers, that I don't want you selling drugs in my city. And it's just, you can tell he doesn't want to be there. And then the director, who was apparently some Iranian guy, is like, he didn't know it was bad, so he just put it in the film.
Now I'm telling these motherfuckers that if they continue killing our children to make their precious millions that they deposit in their secret Swiss bank accounts, Counselor, before your lawsuit even gets off the court clerk's desk, I'll have their stinking bodies in garbage bags and ship them back to Japan for fertilizer.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of stuff that made it into film that by accident, there was like quirks of the actor on the day. Like, you have a lot of stuff in the MCU.
Oh, just like the kind of improvised scenes that they did. Was one of them Drax? When he said, why Gamora?
Yeah, just Dave Bautista on the day just thought he'd just, like, you know, say something funny and it made everyone laugh. Same thing with virtually all of Iron Man's lines. The first film was nearly entirely improv. And then in the Avengers movies with Iron Man in them, just Robert Downey Jr. just wandered around set dicking around. And they just put it into the script.
And there's that one in Thor. Is it the second Thor where he hangs his camera up?
That was just Chris Hemsworth thought it'd be funny. Like, near enough everything in that series that's funny and memorable is just an actor or an actress doing something, just, like, you know, ad-libbing a moment.
It's like, I remember things like that, but like actors getting roles by accident, I'm not too sure. But like improvised scenes, MCU is a big one for that.
Yeah, like, because it's so massive, isn't it? There's so many actors working together, so many energies bouncing off one another. But I just love that one. I'll fucking shoot you in the face if you give this role to anybody else.
That's so scary that you would give him that role just in case, you know, you think, I don't know if he's actually acting.
Would you want to piss off Sam Jackson?
You don't want to risk it. No.
Would you want Sam Jackson yelling at you? How scary would that be?
Very scary.
Like, do you know that scene like The Office where Stanley yells at Ryan?
Oh my
and he's like,
God,
that was the scariest thing I've ever had.
That little girl is a child. I don't want to see you sniffing around her anymore this afternoon. Do you understand?
Yes,
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it.
Because he's just so mellow the entire time, and then he just flips. What was the reason he yelled at Ryan?
It was like his daughter or something was sniffing around him. It's like the same thing with Sam Jackson, where because he's so effortlessly cool, and he's seemingly so aloof and chill all the time, but he has that ability to, just turn on a dime, and it's something not a lot of actors have. Mm-hmm. And they have that ability to turn on that intensity, seemingly from nowhere.
I think what's scary about that scene as well, because he's just so calm. That's what's scary about it. It's just so calm, but he's there with like a gun in his hand.
Yeah, it's just another day for him.
Yeah, it's just scary calm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that in that film, isn't it? Like the famous diner scene, like Tim Roth, and I forget the name of the actress he's with, because I followed Tim Roth's career more, but just when they're just there and they're like talking, like, yeah, honey bun, let's do this, and just like, all right, you motherfuckers get down there and start firing into the air.